If you're a co-host, you might have to hit OK or approve. And when we go live, same thing. And so let's get ready to go live. We'll just have a couple announcements at the beginning, and then we'll introduce Kathy. And we're so excited to play today. On Facebook. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Let's Bead Live with the Upper Midwest Bead Society. We are so excited to be here today. I'm Rochelle, and we have with us Kathy King as our special guest today. We're bead quilling, and we are so excited for you to join with us. If you have the supply list and everything with you, if you don't, go to Bobby B, or excuse me, umbs.org. Oh my gosh. And get the pattern. You can download it right there. Everything is on the calendar page. So go and download the pattern so then you can join us. We have just a couple announcements at the beginning. Our president, Jan.
Hi. So I just wanted to talk about the bead retreat. The bead retreat's coming up March 20th through 24th. We go to Camp Wapagossett near Amory, Wisconsin, which is not far from the Twin Cities. And it's really a fun time to meet other beaders and just, learn new things. There's information about the retreat and the registration form on the umbs.org website on the bead retreat page. So check it out. There's some free classes. There's just a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed the spring and fall bead retreats. So coming up March 20th through the 24th. Get your registration form in early. We have to cut off the registrations a week before and give the camp the count so they know how much food to prepare. So check that out, and we hope to see you there. Thanks, Rochelle.
Thank you so much. And then we have a announcement from Becky from our membership committee.
Hi. There are still quite a number of people who have not renewed their membership. Their membership for most people was due the 31st of December. The end of February, you'll be cut off from receiving our emails and our links and all of that because we only give you 60 days. So if you are a longtime member, your membership was due. If you haven't paid it, please do that. And I want to say retreat is so inspiring because you pass ideas around. Thank you.
How many years have you been going to retreat, Becky?
Since 09.
Wow. I love it. Well, we have lots of new things going on this year. We have a new retreat coordinator, Grace Enabo, and we look forward to seeing you all at the retreats. And if you can make it.
The membership paid allows us to do things like we're doing today.
Absolutely. And we do have different classes going on each day, and you can do independent beading, and you can have a lot of fun, and it's a beautiful camp. And so otherwise, we do look forward to joining you also on Monday night for our normal member meeting. That's part of your membership is our weekly or monthly meeting. It's usually the first Monday of every month, but because of Tucson show and everything going on, we do have it going on this Monday instead. And so it's Monday night at 6:30, and that's through Zoom. And we have a special guest for our Monday meeting. It's Kayla Braun Woletsky, excuse me. It's hard to pronounce her name at times. I want to do it right. And she's the co-owner of Be the Vibes LLC and the manager at Lotus Beads. And she just got back from a Tucson shopping trip where she was shopping for the busiest store in America and her own private business. And so she's going to be delivering us all sorts of wonderful pictures, all the latest and greatest trends, all the way bringing you right to Tucson with her. So then she'll be leading us in a little project with featuring some of the new wonderful things she found and things in Tucson. So that's what our Monday night meeting is. So your Zoom link was sent out for that too. So come on back on Monday. It's going to be really, really fun. But today we're so excited. If you missed Kathy's Monday night meeting with us, we have her back. And Kathy is an award-winning jewelry artist, beading instructor, author of Bead Quilling Jewelry, and the new beadwork designs with square stitch. She uses needle and thread to hand weave thousands of tiny glass beads together in the form of wearable beaded sculptures. And this bead quilling technique she developed in 2008. And the holes, of course, are orientated completely in a whole new way. And the thread is really part of it. And it's really her niche. And she is so excited, I believe, when we, had her in and we all wanted, let's take a class. So we are so excited to have you back with us. And Kathy we're going to add your other one here so we can see your board too. And so thanks for joining us today, Kathy.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, good. The audio doesn't work on the laptop, so you can see me through the laptop, but you can't hear me. So, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here, and hope everyone enjoys the class. Do you want to just dive right in, or does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, let's just dive right in. Do you want to, has everybody had the pattern? Do you want to see the pattern at all? Do you want to talk about it or the supplies?
Here's the finished piece, if you can see that.
Oh, here we will.
I
Let's
have a hard
make it all bigger. There we go. Perfect.
It's hard to it doesn't seem focused. I think it's focused on the mat underneath instead of on
there. Now it's in focus. So yeah,
so that's a finished piece. And the instructions, the materials I listed are the size 10 delicas, which is not necessarily a size everybody has. So you can use size 11s or size 8s if that's what you have instead. You will have to change the number of rows or beads that go around the pearl or round bead. But other than that, the directions don't really change much for the size. It's just you get a bigger, smaller piece. The one thing about the 11s again is they do get very tight because you go through the bead a lot with the thread. So I don't really use 11s at all with the bead quilling. But okay, dive right in. The first thing you make for the piece is you're encasing the round, 8mm bead. So, and what you're doing is you're making strips of what I call, it's 2-bead ladder stitch, basically. And I always pre-count the beads I need because it's just easier to count it once than count as you go. So I counted out 15 rows or 30 beads. I usually count in 2s. So I think this should be 15 rows. Let me double check.
Do you have the numbers if we're using size 8 instead of 10?
let's see, I'm trying to think. I thought for the, let me, hold on, let me, I can look at these right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe it's only, oh, I forgot that with the size 8s. Let me do one.
Great.
Because I thought I wrote those down, but I did not. So I have size 8 beads right here.
On page 3, it says the amount to
Oh, does
increase the bead.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. If only I could remember my own instructions I finished just 2 days ago. So yeah, if you're using the 8, you need 11 rows. And it's just, you know, fewer rows because they're bigger beads. So the thing that some people miss when they're doing this is it's kind of like when I pick up the first 4 beads, which is really the first 2 rows, and then I go back through the first 2 and it causes the second 2 to sit next to them. I'm sure if everyone knows ladder stitch. But the thing about this is you do need to make a whole complete another loop through these beads to tighten them. Can you guys see what I'm doing, or is it too small? I could use size 8s to make it more viewable. Why don't I do that? I'll use the 8s because you can see them better.
Is it possible to move in a little closer? Yeah, you can see the 8s better.
Yeah. I'm wondering if why my cameras doesn't seem to be zooming.
And because they're white on the blue, they do pop out a little better. Yeah.
Oops. My camera's gonna fall. Okay, my camera's falling down.
Never good. It's
It's-
okay.
There we go. I've just moved it down a little bit.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So this is going through, I went through the first 2 beads and then did another complete loop, and then I do one more complete loop, if that makes sense. You're kind of doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additional passes once you pick up the beads. Does that make sense? I can show you, like you pick up the next next row, and you go through the previous row, through the new row, then through the previous row, and through the new row again. A lot of people tend to forget the second loop, and if you can pull them apart, if you can kind of tug on your strand and they come apart, you're missing that extra loop. And then you kind of just, this is the main thing. You get really fast at this ladder stitch if you do it enough. Jump this up. I'm doing. Okay. So I'm making 11 rows. And if you're using the 10s, you're making 15 rows. Has anyone tried the bead quilling at all?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. We were doing it actually with bugles.
Oh, I love it with bugles. Yes.
Yeah.
I've
I
got a,
haven't tried it yet, Kathy, but I went to your website and bought 2 or 3 patterns, you know, and hopefully I'll get to them someday.
Yeah, I know. I know that feeling.
I've done it and I've completed a necklace already. And
Ooh.
so I got your earring kits, and so I did earrings as well. And I've got lots of ideas. I'm really excited about it.
It's you can do different things with it. It's a very, what I like about it is kind of like you do everything in components, and then you can attach the components in different ways. You just kind of line up the rows. So here's my strip of 11 beads. And then to make the circle, you kind of just fold it over and you can connect the first row with the last row and make sure you do the 2 loops, connections. You get your tail out of the way. And you've got a nice little circle of beads. And I personally hate tails. They get in my way. So I'm going to get rid of my tail, and I'll show you how I get rid of threads and how I add threads. If I can thread my needle. This is explained on the very last page of the instructions. But what I do is I bring the needle out between 2 beads in a single row. I'm trying to, you can see that. Is that in focus? And then you pull the
Yes.
needle through, and then you're just half hitching to the thread running between those. So I just kind of run my needle through the thread and then make a little half hitch, and then I go out the other side of the same row, and it just hides the knot in there, and then I cut it off. And that's how I add new thread as well to the bead quilling. So you've got this circle of beads, and what you want to do with your working thread now is kind of do the same thing I just did with my tail. Is I bring it through an adjacent row between one bead, between the 2 beads in the row. So it's coming out of the middle. And then I take my 8mm bead and I line it up. So it's the whole of it is kind of underneath where my thread is coming out. And then I stick the needle down between the row, through the pearl or through the bead, and then out the other side. I don't. And then I kind of work out one row into the next row, and I go through that pearl again, or the bead, the 8mm again. And I usually go through the bead 3 times. It's just kind of a good number. And, you know, over time, sometimes you can find the hole easily, and other times you can't. Sometimes you have to work around. There we go. So that is an encased bead. And just doing these, you can do a lot just with the encased beads. Did I have I had a sample of, well, this is like, there's a necklace where it's just made with encased beads, kind of. So you can kind of just connect them and then add to it and connect it and keep playing with encased beads. So that is part 1 of the piece.
Okay,
And then
so. So you, oh, I'm having trouble here. Am I supposed to be going through the middle bead on the other side of the encased
yes,
bead?
you kind of,
Okay.
you work through the row of between the 2 delicas, through the hole of the bead, the 8mm, and then out through the 2 delicas on the other side. And then I kind of work out that row in an adjacent row, so I know the hole is right next to it again, and then back through the hole. Does that make sense?
Kind of. Tricky. Well, Let's see if that worked. I think it did.
I mean, especially when you use these bigger beads, it can be looser. And if you find out your tension wasn't very tight sometimes, you can do square stitch and connect all one bead at a time instead of 2-bead ladder stitch, and it makes it much sturdier. But you can also, when you finish this piece, if this is too loose for you, you can just work up and down the rows, adding more thread and tightening as you go. What's good about bead quilling is you can always continue to add more thread. It's hard to take it apart, but it's really easy to keep adding. So sometimes my stuff is too loose when I'm done with it, and I'll just keep adding thread.
So we're supposed to end it now once we get the bead attached.
Yeah, I will keep this. If you have a long enough tail, like I have a 8-inch, 10-inch tail, I will leave it there for now, because usually you'll be connecting pieces at the end, and maybe your next piece you won't have a tail and you'll use it to connect.
Okay.
So I kind of leave all my tails for now, and if I don't need them later on, I'll knot them off and cut them. But I hate adding thread, so if I have a tail that's usable, I'll leave it until I know I don't need it.
Okay, I have a question. On the original thing, you said a size 6 for the center, and then these instructions, you say an 8. Do you know how many that you said 15 for an 8? Do you know how many for a
It's
6?
12 for a 6.
Thank you.
Yeah, originally I had I changed it to 8, but it may have gone out. But you can do either. Either one will work.
Yeah, I needed 18, but I think my bead size must be.
Oh, do you have
Said
size?
8 on the package, but it must be bigger than an 8.
Oh, the 8mm?
Yeah,
Do you have size 11 delicas or size 10?
size 11, but I think I used I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Well, with size 11s, you will need more. You'll probably need about 18 with size 11 delicas.
Yeah, that was,
The size 10 delicas take the 15.
now how long of a thread do you need for the next step?
I use about an arm, like one arm length.
Okay.
That's probably more than you need, but again, I like having more than less. And you'll be doing the same 2-bead ladder stitch.
Mhm.
And this time we're making a straight piece. This is what we're making, this straight little piece here. And it is 23 rows, or 46 individual beads is what you need for this one. And if you don't have these little counter things, these are great. These little shovel triangles. They're perfect for counting beads.
Yeah, those are my favorite tool too. But she only went through this.
Does anyone have any other questions on the encased bead? Or still working on it? I might make another one with the size 10s.
I'm just kind of going through the hole right now, connecting it to the bead, because I of course use Icos and a size 6mm bead. So just because to see what it would do.
I mean, any cylinder bead is good.
Correct. Yeah. And so
I mean,
this is what it was
you
on
could
my
use-
tray.
You could use rounded ones, but I'm too picky about how nice these cylinder beads sit together.
they just nestle together so well in this 2-drop stitch. It's so beautiful. How could you not love it?
I love it. I just put in.
Kathy,
Yeah,
did you just end your thread after you got your center bead, put in? So that's
no,
one component and you ended the thread?
no, I left the tail because I had a long tail.
Okay,
Because you will need to connect pieces later. So
all
you
righty.
probably won't need it, but I leave it just in case I have too short a thread on my next piece and I don't have a tail to connect them.
Okay,
You'll be making 3 individual pieces and then we'll be connecting those together with whatever tails we still have.
okay. And
I mean,
are
sorry.
you doing this next session in your contrast color?
No, I did all these in one color, so you can do in different colors. I mean, I like using multiple colors too. I happen to use the same color for these 2 pieces. Right now I'm making another encased bead so I can put this together in the end.
Okay.
I didn't even think that my blue beads and my blue mat probably.
You can see them.
I could get a white
It's a
mat.
dark enough contrast that it works.
I know I've taught a lot of classes where the designs had black beads and black thread sometimes, and it's really hard to learn this when they match too much. Using a contrasting thread helps see the thread paths you have to make. So has everyone got an encased bead or still working? Because I'm still working here. So
I'm still working on my first one.
okay, that's fine.
I had to add more beads.
Yeah.
I've got my one bead done, so I'm trying to do the next strip.
But I'm not allowed to use the Gracie cup or the Bandit cup.
Right.
Because they're special to you. I'm trying to make a pumpkin.
Could you please bead on camera? It's hard to.
Oh,
to
sorry.
see.
I'm like, well, I'm doing another encased bead, so this isn't.
Well, that's good because I couldn't remember how to add the middle bead.
Okay, so I'm about to do that again with the size 10s here.
Rhonda, how are you doing?
I've got the first encasement done. I had to add more beads.
How much coffee stuff?
Honey, just till you can taste it.
Okay, so I slide the bead in there underneath the hole where my thread, the hole is very close to where my thread's coming out, so I can kind of stick it back down in there.
Okay.
And then I work out one row and I go right back into the next row. So it kind of anchors the thread so I can go back down through the hole, maybe. If it's right, it should be right around here. Sometimes it works really well and sometimes it moves on me. I know it's here. There we go. And then it comes out the other side and then I go out a row and back in. And back down one more time. And I've got like 2 tails here, so I'll just leave both of them for now. So you can see the difference, what it looks like between the 8mm and the 10. The 8
Oh,
delicas and
yeah.
the 10 delicas.
Yep. Big
But-
difference.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it. And so having just the multiple different sizes, then you could do the 11 and it would be really,
Yeah.
I could see how just a simple earring, even 1, 2, 3.
And like I did these, this is a medallion with size 12 in the middle with just rows going around it.
I love it.
That's pretty.
And it's the same size cylinder you've used. You
Yeah,
just
these are 8s.
increase, right?
These are 8s. And I did one, I encased it, and then I just kept going around adding rows between 2 rows.
I love it.
And then I changed thread with every layer I did. So
Nice.
the
Well,
difference
that's
is
really pretty.
I like the
Gosh.
different threads. So that's where the thread color change comes in.
Do you not do a knot when you finish doing the bead through the pearl?
If I'm not using if I'm going to cut off the thread, I do. If I'm not cutting it off, I don't. Like when I eventually get rid of the thread, I'll knot it, but I don't knot it just to knot it between using the same thread. Does that make sense? If I'm going to cut,
Did you say an arm's length for the next section?
yeah, just one arm.
So approximately a yard.
Yeah, not probably that much, maybe a little less. Depends on how long your arm is, I guess.
Oh, well, I measure my arm from the tip of my nose to the end of my fingers is a yard.
I mean, you can have too much thread and that'd be fine. You can use it for the next piece. It's not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, yeah, too much is better than too little. As I don't know. I hate adding threads. So
I got my first encased bead.
okay. Does everyone have one? We can.
I was so confused at first because I was doing my square stitch the wrong way, so I had to start over.
Were you doing herringbone, basically going up instead of?
Yeah. I was basically doing herringbone.
That's. I think every time I do that class, like 2 people do that, and I don't even. I need to remind people because I forget about that. It's a common thing. So yeah, you're beading left to right, not down to up. If that
Yeah,
makes
you
sense.
want to be able to see your stringing.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
with herringbone,
okay.
you don't see your string.
Right. And that's what I thought. I can't see any strings. So then I thought, well, I better start over.
So if anybody is done and they want to start, you can just start with the next, do the same thing, a strip of beads again, but it's 23 rows long. Instead
of a contrasting color.
You can. I mean, that's kind of up to you. I'm using this piece I did here is all green thread. So that's kind
okay.
of
well, my thread is white, and I hardly ever buy colored thread because I'm cheap. And
That's okay, Rhonda. I've got lots you can borrow.
Okay, when I bead something and I see the white threads at the end, I use a Sharpie and I color them.
Yeah, you can actually do that with this if you need to. You could.
Okay.
You could color along the edge if you want to.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I had never really thought about that, but you could do that because the white thread will be showing. You could just color it different colors. I actually took a class that they did that with They did clear thread and then they colored it with markers and then used it to bead with.
Oh, okay. So now I do a row of 26?
Yes.
Even with,
No,
I
no,
have
a row
Oh.
of 23 beads, 23 rows, which is 46 beads.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got, then I better do contrasting because I don't know if I have enough of the gold to do.
It's going to be a piece this, sorry, this size, this little piece here.
Are they 2 beads like we did the first one?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
23 rows of 2 beads each. This is it folded over. So this is the finished piece. So you want to make one long strip and then we fold it over.
Okay, and I got another question. The same amount with is it the same amount with the 11 size delicas? Because I only have size 11.
I'm trying to think what size bead did you encase? An 8 millimeter?
11. Yeah, I encased an 8 millimeter.
With the Icos, we encased a 6 millimeter and it was 14 rows. So maybe 16 or 17 rows.
I'm trying to decide because it's going to be, you might want to do a few more rows just because I'm thinking it's going to be smaller. And if you want to go around the 8 millimeter, because it's going to have to sit in here. So I would do probably, 4 more rows. So do 27 rows.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna follow that advice as well.
And then in the end, if we find out it's not enough, you can easily add more. And I
So
can
if
show
I
you how
do
to do that.
27 rows, I have to do 56 beads, right?
Correct. No, 54 beads.
Yeah, 54. Sorry.
I think, right?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry I keep interrupting.
Oh, I'm fine. You're fine. It is.
Yeah, I went to the doctor yesterday. Does anybody want to hear? Hey, well, let's see. Last time I was there, they told me I had kidney failure at about 30%. And she told me I needed to drink 6 glasses of water a day. So I never got there, but my kidneys are much better after yesterday. So I'm really happy and excited about that.
That's good to hear, Rita.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might help some of your back issue too. Maybe it was your kidneys hurting too or something.
Sometimes I thought it might have been. Yeah.
I was having trouble with my eyes and went to the doctor over it. And thinking it was probably high blood pressure, but I had checked my blood pressure and it wasn't. Turns out I was dehydrated and needed more water.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it's been a problem because of my heart conditions, and they've got me on a water pill. And so if I drink more water and it doesn't go anywhere, then I have to take one of those. But even that's better. I don't have to take as many water pills, which is nice. That's the most annoying thing in the world, having to do that.
I have a question.
Okay.
How do you go about joining this guild?
Someone else needs to answer that one.
You can send an email to me and I will, my membership. You can, my name is Becky Pancake. You can also just go to our website, umbs.org, and there'll be instructions there.
Was that Rhonda that asked? Or
Yes.
who? Yeah. Well, that's something I can help you with for sure. So.
Okay, Rita, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yep, I have put it out there in the group, but not lately for people to see if they want to join. It's fun. 2 meetings a month.
Are they all Zoom meetings?
We're
Well,
trying to have a couple in-person meetings this year. We're looking to find a venue that will work for us, and we've got a couple leads. So we're hoping to have some of the meetings in person this year.
But
you'll
And
think-
I have another question. This beading retreat, you have to be a member to go?
no, but it's cheaper if you're a member. A little
what
bit
does-
cheaper.
What does it cost to go to the retreat?
That's also on the website, but I chose to go for 2 days, 2 nights rather. And for me, I think it was $112 being a member for 2 nights.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't, how much is it? Does anyone know how much it is for the full retreat?
I
Right off
think
the-
it's 100 and, is it 58 or 158 for 4 nights
Yeah.
for a member? And it's, I think, $20 more for
A non-member.
a
Yeah.
Hang on.
non-member.
I'm bringing it up. So 4 nights is 172,
Oh,
3 nights 141, 2 nights 112, and it's $15 extra in all of those cases if you're not a member.
Okay.
but
Okay,
there are classes there, and if you are stuck on a project, there's always people who can help you. And I've almost every time I've gone, I've gotten help from someone who knows how to fix my problem. So there's just a wealth of resources at these retreats.
So, and being that I know that driving is an issue, you can drive with me if you want.
Okay,
Something that she asked about was, are they all Zoomed? Even when we start doing in-person meetings, we will still Zoom them because we have a lot of members that aren't in Minnesota and can't attend.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I think we're planning on having at least 4 in-person ones this year, maybe 5.
I'm in California and I joined strictly because I wanted to see Kathy's presentation in November. So happy I joined and was thrilled to see her presentation and have now started doing her patterns.
And that is one of the benefits of joining, is that you get access to the online videos that we've done for people who haven't been able to attend the meeting, who are members, then can go on and watch the videos.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not, I guess I'm fairly new to this kind of beading. I've done like peyote and stuff like that. Some medallions and that kind of thing. But nothing really fancy like this.
This is different.
Well, we're very glad you joined us. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm very glad I met Rita.
Mhm. I'm glad you did too. Oh, Gunny, my dog's whining. I have to go. Be right back.
Mm-hmm.
I love you.
I love you too.
I made some iced coffee.
You did?
Mhm.
I have my little niece here. She's visiting me today.
I made it in the cup that Aunt Mary gave me. I cleaned it out.
Did you?
Yeah, look. She gave me this big cup.
She did.
Remember from my apple juice?
Oh, yeah.
She gave me a big cup so I could have a cup that actually has a lid on it. So I couldn't spill it. It's a good shaking cup too. You can shake it.
Mm.
See?
How's
Nice.
everybody doing? Just beating?
Well,
Why?
I'm about maybe I'm not halfway there yet, so.
Oh, that's okay.
I like the feeling of brown sugar. Feels weird.
So regardless of the count, does it need to be an odd number?
No, it depends on, it's because of the shape we're making that it's the number of rows. It all depends on what shape you're making. It's always an even number of beads, but the rows themselves can be odd or even.
Okay, that's what I was asking about the rows. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a slow beater.
Rochelle, do you know if the written instructions, if we ever got those from January's meeting with the
Meredith,
raw?
well, Meredith got delayed with all of the Tucson activities.
Okay,
And so she didn't get them finalized yet. She says it's still on the board and she'll send them over.
okay.
Okay, so 21 is. But if you need help with it, I've made 9 of them now. And I'm teaching it at the Mall of America bead
Oh,
store,
cool.
Lotus Bead Store on March 13th. If anybody wants to join.
It's I haven't
Yeah,
I had
and I'm
ordered the
wearing the
beads and
necklace.
I didn't have the rounds. And so I ordered them and they didn't come in time for me to do it
Oh.
with the class, so I just watched it. But it's I have the video. I mean, I can go back and look at the video on Facebook, but it's like it's always nice to have a written so you don't
Yeah,
have to have
it
your computer
is.
with you to do it. If I'm watching TV, I don't want to have my computer up as well.
Yeah, I totally get it. So, I will get them out to everybody as soon as we get it. But like I said, if you're having any issues with any part of it, I've been making necklaces and making bracelets and different size beads to make my samples to teach it. And it's really such a fun, versatile thing. And you can do it with 2 needles and Fireline too, if you wanted to, with
Yeah.
smaller beads. And so that's what I did with some 4mm and 3mm, is to make a sample with thread or Fireline. But
Okay, I have a question,
Sure.
Kathy. I have my 23 rows and I connected them. Do you connect them all the way down or just the ends?
You connect it all the way down, and that's the thread path is what
Thank
a
you.
lot of people may find confusing. I don't know. Some people get it right away, and other people,
These pretty
you know, hate it. So
You can look at them.
beads.
I mean, I did the 23 rows in the size 8s. So it's one long strip, and then when you fold it over, they kind of nestle in each other. They don't sit right on top of each other. They kind of nestle in.
It's kind of like a brick stitch.
Yeah. And then, I mean, like I connect these end rows like I did in the circle, but then you work down the whole strip and you're basically making a zigzag stitch. The zigs on one side, the zags are on the other, kind of. And the main thing to remember when you're doing this is you're never moving horizontally. You're always moving diagonally. And you have to do a diagonal on one side and then do a diagonal on the other as you work down. Let's see, I'll flip it over here. So here I'm coming out of this corner one and then I'm going diagonally up to the left.
Hey, you can't have that. No.
And then I flip the piece over and I move diagonally up to the left again. So you kind of, if you flip the piece, you can kind of see what you're doing and you're always moving in the same direction diagonally. And what happens is some people will do diagonal on one side and then move horizontally on the other. So they're completely missing the connections on one side. This is why I suggest flipping it over when you first do it. And I'm going to get rid of my tail because it keeps getting in the way.
Would you hold yours up again so I can see what it looks like?
Hold on, let me cut this off.
Okay, so yeah, you're supposed to be one bead short on one side and one bead longer on the other side.
Yeah, it's kind of, the overall shape is kind of a trapezoid. If that makes sense. They're both one row is longer than the bottom row. The top row here is longer than the bottom row. And that's because it's an odd number of rows. If you had an even number of rows, it would be a parallelogram. So the top and the bottom would be the same size, just, you know, if you take this last bead off here.
Okay, now that's looking better. All right. Go back on mute here.
So I keep working down, doing the one diagonal in the same direction. I'm working from right to left right now. It doesn't really matter which direction, however you want to hold your piece.
Can you do it a little bit slower?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I was on mute. I was asking and I was not getting anywhere because I was deaf. Okay. All right. So it is kind of opposite. It is a little kitty wampus, isn't it?
Yes.
When you're going from row to row.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're always moving diagonally when you're
Got
making
it.
these, connecting these two rows.
Thank you.
And then we get near the end. I'll do this last. Like I'll go into this. It's the end of the shorter row.
Uh-huh.
And when you flip it over, if you want to do diagonal, that thread is already there. So this is where you turn around and start going backwards, and you're going to go diagonally up and to the right. So I don't need to do from this bead to this bead because that's already connected. So I'm going to go backwards and work from left to right now.
Okay.
Doing the same diagonal, but I'm going up and to the right. Every time I flip it, I'm going up and to the right.
Oh, okay. So you go down one way and up the other way.
Yes. And then it gets all your zigs and zags on both sides, kind of. I mean, it looks just like a zigzag sewing stitch in the end.
Got it. Trying to needle my thread, keeps splitting. I'm not very good at thread.
I know a lot of people who do a lot of beading just use Fireline, and you can use Fireline in this, especially in this shape because it's a straight line, but Fireline doesn't come in as many colors. And also, I do a lot of pieces where in the end, I bend these pieces. So, you know, you can manipulate these. And then if you use Fireline, it will not bend at all. Because I had a student who really just wanted to use Fireline. She did. And then in the end, she couldn't make the piece because it wouldn't bend to connect correctly. So if you want a straight, sturdy piece, you can use Fireline. But if you want to manipulate it at all, you have to use thread.
Got it. So when going from, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Got it.
Did you answer your own question?
Well, I watched you do it and I was just wondering how you get side to side. I finished my first set, then I wondered what to do to get to the next one, and you just kind of move the thread over sideways and then do your diagonal.
Yeah, you can do that.
Or what were you doing? I thought that's what
I kind of, when I got down to the end here, before I turned around, I didn't go into the very last row because there was already thread connecting them.
Oh.
So I turned around one row early and started doing that diagonal in the other direction.
I see.
But if you do find like you're not in the right place, you can kind of just move your thread around row to row to kind of get back to it. Especially when I use these size 8s, this thinner thread doesn't always fill it up for me. So sometimes I just do extra passes just to tighten it up. And then the more thread you have, the thicker the color too. You can use much thicker thread when you're using the size 8s if you want to. I use Ceylon, the micro Ceylon a lot with the size 8s.
I think that's what I've got with the 11 today.
So my tail is pretty short, so I'm gonna get rid of it.
Okay, that's.
Kaylee, I'm trying to hear these people.
I was going to show, here's a design that kind of combines the two. It starts off with an encased bead, and then I do these little pieces off the encased bead and make little starbursts.
That really is adorable.
It is, yeah.
And then, you just use different thread colors.
And you create the point by adding an extra bead in the thing, or is it bending it?
No, this is like, each of these is kind of like two straight little pieces. I mean, you can create, I create the angle as I go.
Oh, okay.
You can only create two angles with the bead quilling. This is the 135-degree angle, and then in the piece we're using today, it's a 45-degree angle.
Okay.
But then you can bend them around. But this is just two straight little pieces. But it's all starts off an encased bead, and then there's 12 to 14 rows. So I just kind of connect as many little legs off of it, and then just make a chain of encased beads works well too.
Oh, I'm having a heck of a time holding on to this.
It is a tiny, I mean, the 8s are much easier to hold on to, and then you get the 10s, and the 11s are really tiny, but I guess it's you get used to it.
I'm having trouble missing the beads going through the middle of the beadwork instead of.
Yes, that does happen.
And then there's that darn pesky tail.
You can get rid of your
away.
tail as soon as you start. Sometimes I get rid of my tail sometimes before I even start connecting them. I mean, I can look at a piece like this little one you probably can't see. I'm missing one thread connection. I skipped, I don't know what I did. I think I went through the middle. So I can look at a piece and clearly see where I missed a thread connection, but no one else is going to notice.
I guess it just takes practice, eh?
It does, like anything else.
Everything, yeah.
I mean, you do get really fast at doing the ladder stitch if you do enough of this.
You want to use my phone to watch YouTube? Where's your tablet?
I don't know, remember?
Look on that table.
No, remember I said it over there and you said you don't know where my tablet was and I checked all over for it?
Oh, okay.
Well, sure, I can use your phone to watch YouTube.
Yeah, you can.
I'm looking at all the cool designs in your paper book. In your paper paid tab. I know I don't have to.
If anyone finishes this first strip, you have to make a second one, and it only has 19 rows. Though if you're doing the size 11s, you'd have
Oh.
to add 4 to that as well, since you added 4 to the first strip.
Okay, thank you. I didn't read that far in the instructions. I was just starting my second strip, so.
Yes, you're making it a little shorter.
Okay, perfect. I can do that. It works faster when it's shorter.
Yes. And then you connect them and you have a little perfect little symmetrical kind of triangle, or I don't know, pointy angle, two-sided triangle. Actually, I did that one. It's not very bright. Oh, yeah. And also, if you finish making your straight piece, and let's say you have a tail to get rid of and you're like in the middle of that strip, it's really hard to come out between 2 beads in the middle of a strip. And I usually work to the ends and tie it off in one of the points, just for future.
I've only gotten down one side so far. And I just got a knot.
Oh.
Well, I'll be darned.
That's why I totally can see why you're using 10s and 8s to make it go way faster.
Yeah, 11s. 11s are, well, and they're just tinier. The
That's
first
just
couple
what I
pieces,
had. Oops.
yeah, that it works still. I mean, the first couple pieces I made were all with 11s because that's what I had.
Mhm.
And it
Oh,
makes a
boy.
daintier looking piece. I mean, there's something about it that I do like better, but it gets very, I've had to use pliers to pull my thread through sometimes.
Speaking of pliers, cotton picking knot just came out with my pliers. Where am I? Oh, I had that knot. I don't know where I am anymore. Ooey. Sink.
What if I missed one?
You can always go back and put it back, or you can just leave it. It's not gonna, if you just miss one, it's fine. If you miss more, if sometimes you miss more than one, your straight piece will wiggle a lot. So then you can just work up and down the rows until you get to the spot you missed it and add it back in.
Okay.
It just makes your thread thicker, but that's fine.
Oh, mine looks terrible.
You eventually get I mean, it's a very distinct thread path. So once you learn it, your pieces will look really neat, but it's one of the, parts of it that you do need it takes a little more time to learn.
I found it was easier going back than
Yes,
the
'cause you
diagonal.
can kind of see where you're missing the
Yeah, you can see
the
where to put,
connections.
yeah, the next one in.
I'm the type of person who gets a little frustrated when it doesn't look the way it's supposed to.
Oh yeah. I don't think that's unusual.
Oh, we're supposed to be like crossing the threads now on the way back, right?
No, you don't actually cross any.
Oh,
You're making, it's a zigzag. They're kind of connecting, but not crossing each other. There's no X's. It's kind of
Sort of
all
like a V.
V,
Yeah.
yes.
The V.
hmm. Oh, I think I get it. I think I get it. So that's the V. Oops, I'm not getting through there. Boop. Boop, boop. Okay, let's try this. Ah, come on. All right. Not going through there.
Are you using the 11s?
Yep.
Yeah, they get very tight.
So let me try a little more wax.
What thread are you using?
I think it's a real fine Ceylon. I'm not even sure what it is.
Ceylon AA?
Probably.
Okay, because I have used that, and then there's Ceylon D too, but that's too thick definitely too thick for the 11s.
Hmm.
Do you have a thinner needle?
Yeah, I probably can find that. I just want to figure out how to phooey. Yeah, that one's not going in there, so I think I'll just go this way.
Yeah, sometimes there's a knot, or you just have to kind of work around it.
Oh, there goes the needle again. Oh, darn it. Okay. I'm gonna mute here because I'm gonna start cursing.
I love you, Rita. You're the best. Good luck. Breathe.
That,
You're good.
I think we've all had those days. There were days I've snapped 5 or 6 needles, and
Oh,
I don't know how you ladies use those long needles. I actually prefer the shorts.
I use the short ones to tie knots, but I have to bead with the long ones. I feel like there's no needle to hold on to.
See, and the long ones, I get so, I hate it when they bend.
Oh yeah, I've got some S's going on and
The only thing I use long ones for usually is loom beading.
When you're working with 2-hole beads, sometimes there's an advantage to have a bent needle.
yeah.
They fit your fingers better.
Well, sometimes you're getting through like an 11-0 and a 2-hole cab and you have to, it has to be kind of bent to get up and through.
Oh, here it is. I'm switching to a 13 needle. See if it helps.
So when you're done with your two pieces, there's one that is slightly longer than the other. How's everybody doing? It's quiet.
We're counting to see how many we've got, and now we have to go back to the first one and count to see how many.
My first one was.
I think that's our biggest problem is counting.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's why I pre-count my rows and then I count them again before I start doing the zigzag stitch.
Can you guys hear the pounding
No.
in the background? The townhouse next to me, they're doing some construction and I was like, it's loud to me, but I'm glad you guys can hear it here. I'll mute.
Okay, this one's 24. So 22 is perfect for the second one. 24 was my first one. See, I can't count. I love it. No, but we don't hear your construction. I'm sorry. You've got 6, 8.
No matter how many rows you have, you want the shorter one to be 4 rows shorter than your other one. If that makes sense. So
That is exactly what we wanted to know. Okay.
Because in the
Yeah,
end,
I'm
you're gonna
using size 8s and I made my first one 23.
your
you-
second one will be 19.
and my second one was 19 and
See,
I'm
like when you lay them together like this, it makes a symmetrical shape.
yeah, I'm almost done here.
Okay, let me count my rows again. Oops.
I know, your point is perfect.
I just,
That's okay. We'll get there.
Yeah, I got my first one done.
It'll get much easier.
Yeah, it took a little while, but I could get into this. This is very architectural. I can
It
see
is.
why, as an engineer, you love doing this, Kathy.
Yeah,
I can really see
shapes
that.
you make are very cool,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you get into the 3D shapes.
Yes.
Sorry,
Well,
Kat.
and you've got some phenomenal pieces that fit together. Oh, so then you just did that on top. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start over.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, my thread, I can't see it. My needle keeps coming unthreaded. It's impossible to get the size 13 threaded. And I need a darker color thread because I can't see the V's. I can't see them. So I'm
What
gonna
color
start
beads?
over.
What color beads and thread are you doing?
Pink beads, pink thread.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to get a darker thread.
Kathy, your cat looks just like mine.
yeah, she's very, wants to get in on things. Say hello.
Does she have a little mustache?
No, well, not really, but she does have a white heart on her nose.
Mine has a little Charlie Chaplin mustache.
I've seen those on cats. She doesn't have
Yeah.
that. Just
And
a little heart.
she's got extra toes.
Oh, mine does not have extra toes. I've heard a lot of tuxedo cats have that, don't they?
Yeah, I've heard that too. What's her name?
Simone?
Simone?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the name
mine's
it came
named
with.
mine is named Arletta, but I call her Letty.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. She's a pretty cat.
They're very sweet cats.
My, mine doesn't like me to hold her.
Oh, my cat wants to be on you no matter what you're doing.
She let anybody else hold her but me.
Oh,
I think I scared her when she was a kitten and she doesn't, she's still actually a kitten.
no, Simone's like 9, I think. I don't know. We're not quite
Oh,
sure how old she was when we adopted her.
she's a sweetheart. And then do we turn these into earrings then?
You can turn them, yes, they can be earrings. That's what I originally made. I was thinking of making a bunch of these and making a brooch.
Oh,
Like-
pretty.
I was gonna make 6 of these and then connect them in a circle.
Oh, that would be gorgeous.
So it'll be 6 or 8. I don't know how, it depends on how I fit them together. What's nice
Well,
is with the shapes, you can just keep adding on and then, whatever rows are touching, you can, connect them. So
well, let me tell you, I'm glad I joined this because I like this.
it can be meditative and you can do it in front of the TV pretty easily because you don't have a lot of beads. It's just like one bead, one thread, and you can make a lot of shapes.
Yeah. What's your website name?
Kathy King Jewelry. That's everything. It's my Instagram, my Facebook, my Etsy shop is Kathy King Jewelry Shop.
Okay. I've gotten a lot of Etsy patterns. Do you sell your patterns on Etsy?
Yeah, I have patterns and a few kits.
Oh, kits. Okay.
Okay, round 2 coming right up.
Is it your second straight piece or?
That's gonna be my second straight piece. The first piece is going in the garbage.
Oh,
So I switched to a dark blue Nymo size D thread with my 11 beads. You think that'll be okay?
isn't D the thicker Nymo? Is it Nymo A? I don't know. I haven't used Nymo in a long time. I don't remember.
Hello, help, somebody know that? Does anybody know
Yeah,
that?
D is thicker. You want like a B or an O or a double O.
Yeah.
Oh, would a 1G work? Would it?
1G does work. That is this thread. And it's a little
Okay.
thicker than a Nymo A, but I think it'll work. Like this is my Yuki thread, which is what I use a lot. But I think it's made by the same exact company that makes 1G because they come in the same colors on the same spools with a different sticker.
I
But
don't
I
have-
love
I
this.
used 1G thread.
Yeah, I'm using 1G thread as well, and it goes through an ICO 11 times with a size 11 needle.
Wow.
So, that's through an ICO. I don't know about a Delica. I know they run a little bit smaller, but
I think it'll work. It will work better than the Nymo will. Nymo
Okay.
shreds too easily for me, and especially with the bead quilling, since you go through so many times, I think it just I definitely use the 1G.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
have a matching color in the 1G.
I would
I
do
think
whatever
it-
contrasting. If you have a white or something, I would contrast the color.
Rita, I'm using that KO that
The white.
I have. The white KO.
And that's working good.
KO was
Yes.
really good too.
Yeah, it might be a
Yes.
little too light for my light pink beads, but uh,
Oh, I'm using a dark blue bead so then you can see it really good.
Ugh.
Like a royal blue almost.
ugh.
I think they're suggesting a contrasting thread, not
Yeah,
one that
it definitely
matches.
works. It especially, I mean, you can do matching thread, but it's best to learn, especially with the contrasting. And
Right.
I think it adds more dimension too if you.
Okay. We'll move into the 1G, and I guess I'm hoping this will be dark enough.
Look in the kitchen and see if there's anything microwavable in there, honey? There might be some easy mac and cheese. Boy, I'm a terrible aunt. I am not even feeding my girl here.
How old is that girl of yours?
She's 9. She's
Yeah.
resourceful. I taught her how to cook.
There you go.
She lived with me for 1.5 years. And no, honey. No. Sorry, hon.
Well, Kathy, I want to say thank you so very much.
Oh, it's been fun. I'm glad to do it. It gets
I
me
don't know
beaded
if you
again.
I don't know if you can see what I got. I have one done. It was just, pulling out any old beads.
Let's see.
I
I
can't.
think if I do it again, I'll do one less row around the 6mm because I had 10 and it's just, oh, there we go. It's
Oh,
just
is that
little,
pretty?
there we go.
Oh yeah, looks great.
You are so fast, Megs.
That's pretty.
Oh, well, some days, other days people tell me how slow I am. It depends. I don't know. Does that show any better? Anyhow, I got to put the beads on top and I'll probably make it again in different beads, but these
Yeah,
are
I mean,
regular
turn
size.
into an earring. You can just do a loop of 15s on either side, so you can hang it like this and do a loop, or hang it,
Right.
either way.
Well, and yeah, I use size 8s,
Ah,
this
San
light
Diego's.
gray, and then I used a size 8 hex.
Oh,
for
the hex. Yeah, the hex are cool because they make it a slightly smaller, because the hex sit together better than the circle. So
They do.
you can use hexes.
Yep, I was kind of surprised. I liked the way those hex looked.
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
I mean, I have had students use hexes, and it just made it slightly smaller. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Go add 2 more beads.
But you can
the
see
corner.
my little circle down here is about 1 bead too
Yes.
big.
And
And-
sometimes, like, you have 8mm or 6mm, and they aren't exactly all the same size.
Not true.
Yes.
Maggie?
So
What size pearl did you use when you used the hexes?
I've got a 6mm pearl in the middle there.
Okay,
But I use 10 beads around that circle. I will, on the new version, I'll use 9.
okay.
And then I use
Mine done
20,
too.
23 for the long side.
And then 19 for the other?
19 on the other side. And then,
Okay.
and they just literally just slip right in.
yeah, I kind of recommend for people sometimes making that connection, they connect it wrong and you end up with some cattywampus, not a 45-degree angle. So I always tell people to lay it on the actual diagram sometimes.
Yes. Yes.
And you can see the shorter side kind of goes under the longer side, depending on how
Yep.
you lay them out.
Yes.
And then you should end up with a symmetrical shape if you connect it correctly, but it can get confusing sometimes, and people end up with it kind of connected like that, which is not symmetrical.
Which doesn't work. Yeah.
Well, it could. You just made a new shape. I mean, that's okay. It's a different shape.
That's true. Well, anyway, I want to say thank you so much, Kathy. And
Well, thanks for joining.
I will.
You could do 2 different colored beads if you'd like on each one for each side, and then you could
it could
make
be
a
reversible.
pendant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can.
You could
The bottom row
definitely-
be black and the top row be white, and then when you flip them around, you can see the different colors.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that sounds interesting too. Yep.
Definitely.
And I had
All right,
someone
ladies,
do.
thank you so much. I will see
Okay.
you all later.
Bye,
Take care.
Maggie.
Bye.
Bye.
So I'm starting again. I'm 5 in to my first row. So I'm not giving up.
It is harder with the size 11, so I understand.
I
That's
made
what I
mine with
have.
11s.
And I have a darker thread, so that should be easier for me to follow the thread path
Oh,
now.
that looks good. That is Marlene. That
Yeah.
looks good.
I used an 8mm.
Look at that. Very nice. All done.
Whoop.
One anyway, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty.
That's nice.
I didn't use contrasting thread, but
that's okay. You don't have
Yeah.
to.
yeah, I like it.
Very
It's-
nice.
Well, she
Anybody
can-
else have that they want to show and tell what they made so far?
I'm not there yet.
It's okay. There's no judgment.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
not
my
a race.
V.
No judgment and no rush.
There we go. Add spotlight. There we go.
I
Well,
can
it
go
looks like
here.
a really nice angle. You got the point
that.
perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got the
Not
V, and I'm
bad.
using
No, I don't have-
11 Toho
Neither do I.
seeds.
What did I do?
I
wrong?
undid mine. I don't know.
You're using seed beads, not delicate?
Yeah, seeds instead of cylinders. Yeah.
Oh, see,
wow.
that
You're
looks really
not
good then.
finished connecting. You have to slide it down.
And then I used a friend's
It
dichro bead
doesn't-
that has,
this angle are the top two, and then this is
Oh,
the
that's
third
pretty.
and the fourth. So it sits like this to create the angle.
Well, that's what I have, but it's not.
Oh, come on.
I know.
Get up there.
Oh, is someone having trouble making the angle?
Yeah, Shelly's having trouble with the angle. Let me get her camera on
I
here.
forgot I had it.
Wait, let's
think I did it
spotlight you.
backwards.
Add spotlight.
There I am.
But why are you having, yeah, so I don't know the issue that you're having here.
Did I do it backwards?
Put it a little closer to the camera.
Oh,
Yeah.
it doesn't, it's not focusing.
It's because you have yellow beads in the bright light.
Okay.
Let me
Yeah.
adjust the light to the different color.
Do you have two different color threads?
I do.
Yeah.
I have
Okay,
3 different
okay.
color threads because I was
Mhm.
playing.
It looks right then. The reason it looks weird is because the shorter leg isn't with the different color thread.
But
But
it looks, no, so it should it be the angle this way and the angle this way, or should it be the angle this way to the, like, did I put it on backwards is what I'm
no,
asking.
the longer leg is the one with the dark thread, right?
Yes.
So then when you connect them, it looks like you connected it correctly, but just because it's
At
not
the-
going to be symmetrical because the shorter leg is a different color, so you don't see
Like what type?
the angle as clearly because it's two different colors, and the shorter leg is it's hard to.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an optical illusion too, but I
Yes,
think.
it's an
and so
optical
which color
illusion.
thread are you using to connect them? The
I
dark.
just used the green because that's what I had in my hand, but I
Yeah.
don't
I
have
think
the
it's-
point, which is what I'm wondering. That's why I'm wondering if
You
I
don't
did it
have a
backwards.
point.
I don't have the point.
Let
I
me,
think I did it. I think I did it
let me
backwards.
see. Can you hold it closer again? I guess I don't see. Oh, yes. You connected it to the wrong, you connected it to the longer side.
I
Like
did.
If you put it on the little
No.
diagram that's in the instructions, you
Is it-
connect.
Is it short to short?
Yeah,
Yeah.
short to short,
Well,
not
it's-
short to
it's-
long. Yep,
it's-
that's why.
It's the
That's-
end. It's the end of the short one to the inner shorter side of the bigger one. Does that?
Okay, so I did it backwards.
Yeah, that.
Yes,
part,
I couldn't tell
Okay.
until you picked it up. Yeah.
That makes sense.
That makes
now.
much more sense.
All
Yeah,
right.
you want to connect it
Right.
to the shorter side of the longer piece.
So it
That
needs to
is
be-
lots of descriptives there.
Short end, it should be short to short? Then it's such
No, it's the very end. It's just the two end rows on the
Yeah.
short piece. Can you see the instructions
You
here?
see
I've got the,
instructions right here.
Yeah, to the short, oh.
if you lay the-
there. Oh, I was trying to, I got it. Light bulb just went on.
I didn't print out the instructions because I don't have a printer.
no,
Wait,
my printer didn't print them out well, but if
Now
you
I
lay
got
it
it
on
in
the
now.
instructions, it kind of helps. If you look at how the pieces in the instructions in the diagram.
And so if I did,
Yep, that to that.
I know, but what I'm thinking is if I did it with the,
Inside out.
If you do it with the yellow thread, it might make it more symmetrically.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's, I just flipped it to the
Mhm.
yellow thread. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yep, I got it. Okay.
Makes sense. All right.
But it will still be an optical illusion a little bit because it'll just be a little more green thread than yellow. So
Well,
but
that's okay.
I think if you connect it with the yellow thread, it'll make it pretty symmetrical.
Well, and then my little ball has orange thread, so
Yeah, I like using all the different color threads. I have some pieces with lots of threads, and then you can get variegated thread.
yes, those are
My
fun.
pin. This
We
is the
have one question from
with-
someone on Facebook about when they connect it, will the thread bunch up too much, because you're going on top of the other thread and on top?
No, because when you connect there's no. You'll be connecting it in parts of the beads that don't have thread yet. If that, probably when you're first learning it, you will have extra passes, so it will be a little bunched up, but in general, it will not.
So what about
impact the
not
flow.
doing the extra one on the end when you connect it? Because you're going through the same end beads when you're connecting it as when you fold it. So you don't need to really reinforce the end overly because you're doing it when you connect it.
Well,
right?
you need to, yeah, but the new thread paths, you're only having 3 new thread paths, and that's going over no other existing thread yet.
So it really
that-
doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Because you're connecting, if you look at the thread paths, those sides of the beads don't have any thread there yet,
Mm-hmm.
and it should look the same. And you don't want to do fewer thread paths because especially when you do angles, a lot of the tension is where the angle is, and it can move on you.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
So I'm kind of trying to hold this so you can see what I'm
That's
doing.
okay. I will blow it up more. There we go.
So I kind of pinch them between my fingers where they're supposed to be. I see where
Yep. See, look at how they just.
Yeah, I did it backwards.
Yeah.
So you're
no, and that
connecting
makes a big difference.
these 2 beads here, and then these 2, and then these.
Yep.
That makes sense.
That does.
Now I've got it.
It's hard to.
It's
Ah.
hard to conceptualize.
But then
Once
when
you get it, but until you get that kind of light bulb moment.
right.
Yeah, I was trying to match the points and that wasn't working.
No.
Wait, is that still? No, that's right. It just looks funky at the moment.
So, and sometimes it moves a little, and sometimes I'll just go back and reinforce stuff again. So this one, you kind of, this will lay in there like that. I might use the green thread to attach it, I think. I'm gonna just.
On my second piece, the holding it together, folding it, turned out a lot nicer.
Yeah, once you figure out how to do that, it just is cleaner looking.
Well, you know what I'm doing? I'm doing it, but I'm not doing it from the side. I flip it forward. And then I look where the bead is, and then I go up to the next bead. It's like when you're stepping up almost to me.
Yeah. Yeah. You're always
Yeah.
moving kind of up and diagonally.
Yeah. And so that helped me get my beads together better.
Kathy, when you attach this, could you sew it slower so that
Oh, yeah.
I can follow?
So yeah, when in the instructions, it shows you exactly which rows to connect, but really, however you want it, you could put the bead farther up in here too, if you wanted to, or farther down. It's all kind of where you want to connect it, but to connect the rows, you're just going to kind of do the loops of thread connecting one row, 2 rows from the encased bead to 1 row on this little V guy. So I'm connecting it into the second row in from the end on the V. I'm just going down through that row and back up. I'm going to do 2 loops just because these are big beads and there's lots of room for thread. So there, I connected 1 bead from the circle to 1 bead on the V. 1 row, sorry. And then I'm going to connect it to another row. I'm going to slide this over. I'm just going to go to the adjacent row on that encased bead. And do 2 passes. I can. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Thank you.
And then I just count, I'm going to work around the pearl, just kind of going up and down the rows. And I'm going to go past 4 rows that won't be connected to anything. And then on the 5th row, I will connect it to, so this one is connected to the V. So I go down 1, up 1, the second one, down the third one, up the 4th. And then when I get to the 5th one, that's what the one I'm going to connect to here. Or actually, I might do the 4th one. Just, I think these bigger beads look better. So I'm going to just leave 3 empty rows in between it. And then I'm going to come up the 2nd row. Oop. And then go into this adjacent row here. And that's that. That makes sense? Could you see what I was doing? I have my glasses on. I can't tell. Hello.
Yes. Sewing it slower and closer to the camera definitely helped. Thank you.
I don't realize how fast I'm sewing, so I apologize.
Oh, you are the fastest I've ever seen.
And then I'm going to knot this thread here and get rid of it because I don't need it anymore. And there's your finished. This is with the 8s. So it is a fairly big difference between the 8s and the 10s. And then the 11s would be even smaller than the 10s. And you guys said you tried the bugle beads.
Yeah, I did it with 30mm bugle beads, creating sculpture.
These are bugle beads.
Those are nice.
Wow.
And what's nice about this is, well, these are the same size, but you can do, did I bring circles? These are circles using bugle beads. And the way it makes a circle is that the 2 rows, the outer row is the bigger bugle and the inner row is a smaller bugle. And it makes it circular just because the 2 beads are different size. So it curls.
Oh, that's perfect. Wow.
So this is actually doing the bead quilling in a straight line, but it makes it curve because they're different sizes.
So you could do the same thing with a 10 and an 8, basically.
Yes. But I think the bugles work better. I mean, let me see, I don't have one with the delicas that way. But I really like the bugles are fun. Though you have to be careful because they do get sharp edges. So they have to be fairly good bugles or you're going to cut your thread. And then this is the 3D shape, one of the shapes. And this is basically the same thing you guys just did. These are triangles. There's just, I made these the 45-degree angle we just made. I made 4 of those and then connected them together into this 8-sided shape. If we can, but it's the same exact technique. It's just a lot more angles.
That is super cool. What an easy concept, just to repeat,
And then-
repeat, repeat.
Yeah, and then you just you have to kind of rotate it, and then you connect the first and the last row, and it pops into this kind of 3D shape.
I was gonna say that's probably the tricky part, is the last connection.
Yes, I mean before you kind of connect it, it just looks like a stack of triangles. It's like, and then you rotate it and connect the final 2, the first and the last rows, and it kind of becomes a 3D shape. It's fun. I like the 3D.
Yeah, I do too.
Then here's like a whole bunch of triangles just sewn together.
Ooh, wow, fun.
That's good.
I don't know what it is. It's just a thing.
That's cool.
Things are cool.
Things are really cool.
Really cool.
Things can turn into something later on, you know?
And then I kind of created hinges connecting the 2 shapes with little 15s.
Oh,
So you can kind of go like
Oh,
that.
wow.
Again, I don't know what I'm doing with it, but
Looks like something Diane Fitzgerald.
Kathy, how do you do the connection of the ear wire at the top of the?
if you want to do, you can, if you have, if you have the 8s, I'd use size 15s or size 11s and just do a loop of them.
Okay.
You come out one side of the row, pick up 7 to 9, whichever size, however big a loop, and go back through. And then I go through that loop of beads 3 times and then knot it off. But then what I want to make a bunch of these, and you can make them and just keep connecting them together and making, I mean, one I like, but I really want to make like 8 of these and make a big brooch with them connected in a circle.
Oh, yeah. Or you can make a star out of it too.
Yeah, you could connect to all you could connect it that way.
Yeah.
And make this. So to me, I like making lots of shapes, and then you just play around with the shapes, and then you just line up rows and you stitch the rows together to create your final shape. So it's a lot of playing around. So most pieces I have no idea what it's going to end up looking like until I'm done. So here's another 3D piece that's a spinner. Well, this one doesn't spin too much.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
The
Yeah.
original design had another
Pretty
piece in the
fun.
middle.
Wow.
This just has a big beaded bead, but this is the I forgot which thread this is, but it's variegated, which is really pretty.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And it's the thicker thread, so it's a lot more vibrant when you use these. These are size 8 delicas.
So is the chain connected, or is that to hang it, or?
The chain, it hangs like,
Oh, sure.
so there's a big beaded bead in the center of it, and then there's just a head pin going through the center connecting the chain.
That would make a cool Christmas ornament.
It would. And you can make the same shape using the size 11 delicates, and it just makes a much smaller 3D shape, which I have somewhere. I think I have it. Oh, here we go. Here's the,
Oh,
Oh,
this is me. I don't know what I'm making here, but
It's super cool.
this is the same shape, 3D shape made out
amazing.
of the tens, and then it's got this flowery thing going through it.
That's cool.
I think I would need 4 hands. Just to be able to hold it and then do that.
Well, you make each piece, and then I just made each piece, and then I attached the last one when it was in the, it's,
We're not
We're
muted.
not muted.
No, that's okay.
Oh.
That's the
Yeah.
whole point of
Yeah.
how we find out what we do. That's so cool.
Watching for Dad.
it was kind of a heart pain to connect the last piece because I had to do it while it was inside this other piece. That's going to be part of a sculpture piece I'm working on. So it's going to rotate somehow.
What's the biggest sculpture that you've made?
All beads or others?
Um,
I mean, then my necklaces are probably my biggest all bead pieces. I have some
Uh-huh.
necklaces that are fairly large.
because yeah,
But I
the
did-
one that you had around your neck in one of the photos seemed like it was quite substantial.
Yeah, there are some. I have a big pink one that is fairly large. I can go get it. It's in a box somewhere.
Let
me go
love
find
show
it.
and tell.
Did you get your video? Oh, you did. I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm still trying to fix this.
I'm attaching my little beady part. I'm working on it. I'm getting there.
Cool.
Catching up to y'all. I know I'm so busy watching and talking that I'm not beating as fast.
I just keep catching wrong things.
Yeah, well,
Well, this was a fun class. Thank you very much.
this really has been enjoyable. A
Yes,
whole
thank you.
different perspective of how to hold things, how to view things.
All
Yes,
right.
and ooh, here she comes. I see the box.
Here is this big pink piece. I don't know if this is.
Wow.
Holy moly.
oh my goodness.
That goes around your neck?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
now I see it. Okay.
it's actually two pieces.
Wow.
So this piece comes out. So you can wear this necklace with just these silver bobs on it, or they go in, they fit inside kind of like a puzzle.
Oh,
the-
neat.
wow.
That was the pattern I got from her, was the spinning ring.
So
That's
it's
so
a fairly
cool.
large, I guess I don't know where. Can you see me? Oh, here we go. I guess I can hold it
Oh,
up to
here,
me.
yeah, no, I'll put your other picture here. Let me put you add spotlight. There you go. So now we've got you in perspective with
Oh.
your beautiful, holy moly.
Wow.
Wow, that's
gorgeous.
amazing.
If I could. It's two necklaces. You can wear them together or apart. So
That's gorgeous.
it's a fun. I've worn it a number of times to like gallery openings, but
I could
I
see
like the
why.
fact that it's two pieces and it's like a puzzle putting them together. And then let's see, what's this? My other favorite one is this one. That's kind of like it's kind of like armor,
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
but
Definitely
Wow.
armor.
this is all bead quilled and it's super, if I hold it under here, it's super simple. It's these really simple shapes, but
Yeah,
I
but-
just made a lot of them.
I was gonna say when you layer them like that and they cascade down, it
Yeah.
really creates a great illusion.
Oh, what size
I had
beads
these-
are those?
These are size 8 delicas.
Okay.
And then I have these little metal pieces, so it holds 3 of them. So they just kind of,
Nice.
That's cool.
and really light. This one's really lightweight. But
It looks kind of like cathedral spires.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I do have a necklace I call cathedrals because I made it based on windows.
Mhm.
And then there's the crown
Oh, yay.
is a statement.
Wow.
Can you,
Nice.
can you
You
go-
can-
put that one? Can you?
You can also wear it as a necklace if you want to. Here's the, like that.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And it's bead quilled, some, these
Oh, yeah.
pieces with the, if you guys know, like the 70s thread art,
Yes.
string
Oh, I
art.
used to do it.
So the bead quilling acts like the nails did
Half of them.
in when you did string art, you know, you tied it around nails. But here you can use the holes of the beads. So you can do the string art designs in the bead quilling, which is really cool. That's kind of what the cage parabola is the thread art that I just added size 11 to seed beads. So I really like doing the string art. That's really cool.
And with the beads, it's a lot more structurally sound. Like it's not going to
Yeah.
get damaged as easily.
No, and like when I add some of the thread, that gold thread in the crown is kind of hard to work with because it's coated thread. So you have to bead really slowly, but it looks so pretty. But it's
Yeah,
on your
it's
head, so
gorgeous.
it's not the one, the cage parabola where I've seed beads. I just used fire line for that. So it's not going to break. It's not like a single strand of thread, so it's a little sturdier. But I think I knocked. Let me get one more. Here's a good example of the 3D piece. If I could do that. This is my cathedral inspired. Here we go.
Oh, definitely. That is gorgeous.
And
Yes, it
The
is.
string art in the middle.
the string
Yeah.
art. So this one fits, like it's not as big, but it's very 3D. But any other questions about anything?
Can you show me again how you attach the pearl at the bottom?
Let me put my glasses back on. So let me hold this correctly. When if you have the pearl, you're taking 2 rows that are, the beads are, there's however many, 12 to 15 rows around your pearl. I've got 11 here. You're taking 2 of those rows and attaching it to 1 row. I'm going to use a needle here, 1 row on the V shape. So you're just going, you know, up the row from the round bead down into the row on the V shape. You're doing like 2 complete loops. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
And then you're working around, you're going up 1 row, down another row, working around till you get to the other side of the encased bead. And you're attaching 2 rows on that side to 1 row on the other side of the V.
Okay.
And you can kind of decide where you want to attach it. You can kind of pull your bead in and out and see, you know, where you want to attach it. That can
Okay.
change.
Well, it would help if I went through the second bead and not just.
Oh, in the row? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have thread every now and then coming out. Like if you look at the side of my pieces, every now and then there'll be a piece of thread just kind of hanging out here. And you can't really do much about that. Sometimes that happens. If you just go through one of the beads in the row instead of both of them.
Okay.
And if anybody, if you go back and do a second one, if anyone has questions about the instructions or anything else, you can just send me an email or something. I'm assuming my email is somewhere. It's on the instructions, actually. the last page of the instructions has my email and website on it. So
And it also was emailed to you with this Zoom link as well. So it's on the Upper Midwest Bead Society, and it will be there forever. It'll go to the archive page, and then this video recording is going to be uploaded to YouTube, so you could see it on Facebook or YouTube in your future at any time.
Well, I don't know about, mine's not right. Something's wrong with mine.
can you show it, put it in the camera?
I don't really want to.
Let's see it. Come on. Be
And
brave.
No, just wait,
as I always tell people, any mistake you've made, I've made probably 10 times. So
Right. So who are we gonna highlight here? Who's having trouble?
just hold on here. Let me do this real quick and I'll see what I can do.
And then
I think I sewed my triangle together wrong.
Well, let's see.
that's easily
Show us
done.
what's going on,
That looks
Rhonda.
terrible.
At least you got a
Frustrated.
triangle.
I'm frustrated.
Yeah, I got squat.
Okay, I think you attached your ends instead of going like, if you can, I got only little pieces left. Instead of going like this, she attached them like this.
Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah.
So you made a 135-degree angle instead of the 45-degree angle, but that is a common thing that happens. So
Well, the second one will be better.
that's kind of, you make it once and then you realize what you did, and then but yeah, if it's too straight a line, you just connect the ends instead of taking the end of one to the inside of the other.
Yeah, the second one will be better. So this was just a practice.
I have boxes of practice.
Actually, she can probably still fix it. Just take apart the stitching.
Well,
It
I don't
depends.
think I can take apart that stitching. There's an awful lot.
If you can, it's not easy to take apart. It's very doable, but you have to know what your thread path is. If you don't know what thread path you were doing, taking it apart can be way more effort than it's worth.
Well, I'm going to start over.
Okay. I did finish mine.
Hey, I got my first.
Oh, see, that's pretty now.
My first.
It's
yeah.
blue beads.
Did
with
really
like-
good, Jan.
Pretty.
Yeah, I like it.
That looks great.
But
I
I
actually
better
got
make
my first
little, I
row
better make
done.
little gal something to eat.
Yep.
All right.
Very good.
Glad
Thank
you
so
joined
much.
us, Rhonda.
Yeah, I'm glad too. Now I know what to do.
Exactly.
Well, we can work
Yeah.
on it together maybe on Monday, huh?
Right next to
Yeah.
me.
Oh yeah, we could work on it Monday
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
at 12 o'clock again, Rita.
Yep. 12 o'clock again.
Okay, I'll see
That
you
is
then.
so interesting, Shelley, because we did the same beads with different color thread.
That's
Oh.
cool.
She used yellow and orange thread on most of it and then green on this one side. And I
Oh.
used green on the whole thing. But the beads are the same color.
I got one line done and I'm still not sure I did the V's very well because I can't really see them. So it is what it is.
Well, I think everybody has been doing a great job, and as
Yeah.
long as you had fun and learned something to get you to keep going, that's the whole point, right?
Yeah. It's exciting.
It is. It's very exciting, and
So-
we're so excited you joined us today.
I did the 27 for the 11s. Now on the other side, how many do I do? 24 or 25?
Are you doing, that was your longer side. So the short will be, if you did 27, you'll do 23.
23 for the short side. Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna write that
Four
down. so I
rows
don't forget.
less on the other side.
Yes.
Whatever number you do, it's 4 rows less. Okay.
And you can kind of, when you join them, you can see where you're joining them. They're kind of sharing those 4 rows. So if you
Got
want it
it.
symmetrical, because of how you're joining that for the 45-degree angle, one side is always 4 rows longer than the other to make
That
a
makes sense.
45-degree angle.
Got it. Got it. I think I will finish it. It's just getting the other side made now, and I've got the little round bead done here. So, yep. It's gonna be pretty.
So excited. We'll check out Kathy King's website for more of her patterns and everything going on. Do you have things coming up at all, Kathy?
No, I don't, unfortunately. Have too much coming up. Yeah, sorry, nothing new really exciting to announce. I'm working on some new instructions that I don't have to show anything, but hopefully I'll have those up in my Etsy site this spring. But yeah, no other exciting announcements, sorry.
No, that's quite all right. We're just gonna go follow you and buy the things you've already done, you know,
Yeah.
because we haven't done them yet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And if you want to see her Monday meeting that we did, if you became a member just recently, then you can go to the private member page and that'll take you to the private YouTube channel to watch our Monday meetings for members. Otherwise, our Let's Be Live ones are through the archive page and the public YouTube page. So there's a private one and a public one. So if you're having issues ever getting on there, just let us know and we'll get you the right passwords and everything you'll get the passwords when you become a member. And so thank you so much for joining us all today. We hope to see you on Monday night for Kayla's wonderful Tucson extravaganza and everything that's new. And check out umbs.org for your membership. If you have not become a member, there's a PayPal link that you can click and join or pay your dues and then keep your membership going. And so thanks a lot, everybody. Happy
Thank-
beading.
Take care.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Kathy.
Welcome.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye-bye.
Great day.